So you've bought land. Yay! You get to build it out exactly the way you want to, with your house here, a garden, a pond, chickens, a workshop. How are you gonna access it? A culvert to cross the ditch. It's not sexy, but it's gotta be done when you buy land. So let's chat about how to figure out the cost and get it installed. So 5 years ago, we had a culvert put in at another property. It was about an acre outside of Houston, no big deal. The Hubs did all the legwork on it, and it was about $600. I didn't think anything of it. It didn't sound unreasonable. He handled it, done. Fast forward to this 5 acres, need that culvert put in. He has quotes done. He's doing the legwork again. Cool. The quotes were almost $2,000 from the $600 5 years ago. And I get inflation, but for real. I had a heart attack, so I had to dig in. So I found out that it varies a lot from county to county in the state of Texas, at least. At our old property, you just called the county. You had a culvert delivered, or you go pick one up, and they come install it. Done, right? Like easy. And then we come out here. And so we actually don't have very many zoning or regulations that we have to comply with, but one of them is culverts. So we call. It turns out you have to get a permit, and so we got it. It was really not a big deal, and it didn't even have a cost, so fine. But what I uncovered had something to do with the taxes. So essentially, our taxes are really low at this property, and at our other one, they were much higher. But essentially, you're paying for more services in those taxes, and one of those apparently being having a culvert installed. So the county is maintaining the roads, and so they really want to make sure you don't damage them and things of that nature, so they would install it. But out here, you're going to go ahead and pay for that install. It's not into your taxes, and they make sure that it stays in a controlled way with the specs that they require by having you get a permit and using one of the vendors in the county. So let's walk through how to figure out how much this is going to cost you, whether you should DIY it or go ahead and have someone install it for you if it's an option. So step number one, if you haven't guessed it by now, is to contact your county. They tend to have different rules on the materials that you use for it, like even the material that the culvert itself is made out of. So you definitely need to start there. And then I think the rules get a little more intense if you're also backing up to something like an FM farm to market style road versus this the county paved road here. So assuming you've contacted the county, let's actually walk through the pieces of this that you can cost out for a good estimate. As we're doing this, when you come up with your figure, comment below with the cost of your area and the part of the country that you're in so that we can help each other out, because I'm sure there's a lot more people doing the same thing at some point in their journey. So even if you're totally going to contract this out, hire someone else to put in your culvert, I still recommend that you find out what the requirements are from the county. I can't tell you how many times I've kind of been screwed by a contractor and just assuming that they're more of a professional and will know more than I do. And while granted, I haven't had something with, zoning or regulations from a county yet, but I'm also not willing to risk it. So once you know all the rules, that's a great place to start, and let's start costing those elements. So the biggest expense for us was going to be having to rent equipment. So if you already have equipment, like backhoe kind of situation, then this might not be as big of a deal for you. But for us, we had to do that. So first you're going to start with equipment because you're going to have to dig out the ditch presumably a little bit, and then you're also going to have to put the culvert where it needs to be. The next component to price out is the dirt and rock, whatever you're going to have brought in to cover it all up. So ours was 20 feet wide, and we ended up needing 3 loads of fill dirt and 1 load of limestone. You'll also need that culvert. So big box stores like Lowe's, Home Depot, you can technically buy them online. Our local ones don't happen to have that kind of thing in stock. But you might have more luck with local home improvement stores, like sometimes Tractor Supply or McCoy's or whatever's in your area. And another option is pipe yards. Wasn't the first place I thought to look, but that's where we actually got our first one. So once you have your equipment and dirt and stuff that you need, the cost of that culvert, layer in 20-30%, and that should give you a rough estimate of what you need to save before you give the guys a call. So let's walk you through our specific example. So for our install, we actually needed 3 loads of fill dirt, and they were running $145 each locally. You actually have 4 to 6 inches, I believe, underneath the culvert, and then a layer on top. Above that, you have 1 load of limestone to make sure you don't have a muddy mess for the bridge across your moat to your castle. And the 24-foot plastic corrugated culvert, that was dictated by the county. There is also metal concrete options as well, and then you can also have smooth instead of corrugated. But again, that was dictated for us. The backhoe rental as well as the delivery and pickup was a significant cost for us. If you have access to this, it makes a DIY install more likely. This was 1985 and our quotes were in the $1,800 range. So while it felt higher than what I was expecting when we went into this project for this property, it ended up being the smoother option for us. We ended up paying someone instead of doing a DIY. So we just bought this land and there is a lot to do. If you're in a similar journey or looking for information in the same space, hit that like and subscribe. We'd love to have you.